Hey there guys, Absolute Nachos here. Here's my voice. A couple of you guys asked for it, most of you didn't. But yes, I know I sound weird. Thank you. You can blame all my friends that said, "Hey, I know Nachos, your potato quality mic sounds pretty good there, buddy, so just use your mic for a video or I'll ace your water with fucking bleach." No one really said that, by the way. So I really don't have a choice. So, deal with my Irish seal of approval potato quality mic, or wait till I get better recording equipment to remake the video. And before you ask, but I absolute nachos, why make this video with the tater quality mics? To be honest, I just feel like this needs to be made. So before we jump to the main topic here, the gameplay in the background is probably going to be Overwatch, and it may or may not change as the video goes on. If it does, I'll put on screen the name of each game as it pops up, so you guys don't have to go digging in the comments to find the game. Now, on to the main topic, something I like to call the Watch Dogs effect. First off, what is the Watch Dogs effect? It's a term I produced from the overhype of Watch Dogs after seeing how its hype killed the game. Around the time Watch Dogs was released was the time I started to pay attention to the gaming community and industry, so never before in my life, despite gaming 15 out of the 20 years I've been alive, have I seen such hype for a game. Essentially, like I said before, the hype that Watch Dogs produced killed Watch Dogs. Why do I say that? On release, it got such piss poor reviews, saying that the graphics were dumbed down on PC. You know, all that that gigantic controversy surrounding that. People said that the game felt a little empty with the hacking mechanics, that the plot was poor, that the characters were poor, and that just produced so many negative reviews. And a few weeks later, even about a month or two later, positive reviews began to surface. Now, why is that? People look past the hype. The hype has died down. People started looking at the game more objectively. Now, people weren't saying that it was a great game, an amazing game, but people were saying that it was average, that it was okay. Now, why does this happen? Why did this happen? Essentially, what had happened is that we were overhyped. We expected more. We expected to do so much more with the hacking in game. We expected more than just point and press X, and, and we expected to be more engaged. We expected a wider variety of things to hack, and we expected better graphics, smoother gameplay, all that jazz. What we were promised wasn't there. Like I said, in a nutshell, the hype that Watch Dogs produced killed it, the game. Now, we've seen this with more recent games as well. The first thing to pop in mind being Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4, Fallout 4 fans, the community of Fallout, including myself, I'll admit to that. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Fallout 4 is gonna be the greatest RPG ever. It's gonna be the greatest Fallout game ever." But as more and more news was released about Fallout, the hype just spiked with each new trailer for Fallout, be it about the gameplay or just a small announcement. The the levels of hype just spiked and spiked and spiked, and everybody was expecting this perfect Fallout game, something that we've wanted from the start. But when the game released, there was a lot of crashing the desktops that happened to me. A lot of people couldn't get into the game. A lot of people were having problems with optimization of the game. Yes, that happened. And again, hype almost killed Fallout 4. It A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is going to get Game of the Year," even after the hype died down, but it didn't. When you look at the game objectively, it's we got a bit more than we were promised. We weren't promised too much with Fallout 4, but we were promised a good experience, and we did get that. But a lot of people have left Fallout 4 to go back to playing New Vegas. Again, the overhype of Fallout 4 killed its potential gigantic fan base, and it almost killed the game itself. Now, Fallout 4 isn't the only game to suffer from this. When I when I think back on games, not recent games, but a bit more back, another game that pops up in my mind is this. This can be argued. I mean, this one's a stretch. The Last of Us. Why do I say that? On release, this was hyped. This was supposed to be game of the year. This was supposed to be, a lot. I mean, this is a highly anticipated AAA game. People were expecting a 10 out of 10 perfect game, which, let's be honest, it is a 10 out of 10, and it is a masterpiece, but I wouldn't call it a 100% perfect game. It does have its flaws, especially on the PS3 version, where there are some visual glitches. Now, why do I say that overhyped almost killed the game? A lot of people were expecting more to be done with the infected, or whatever they called it in The Last of Us. People expected a bit more. And on release, some people did give it negative reviews, but after the hype died down and they went back, then they saw, um, then they saw what everybody was talking about with all the good reviews. I mean, another game that just recently came out that suffers from this overhype is Overwatch. I can relate to that firsthand. I myself was not hyped, but I do know a couple of people that were. They were expecting this to be some amazing, groundbreaking game when it really wasn't. I mean, was it advertised as an amazing game, almost a perfect game? Yes, it was. I'll admit that. But I didn't expect much. I just expected, a good, a good MOBA or something of the sorts, which it is. But people were expecting a lot from this game. Did it live up to the hype? That's arguable. I mean, as the days go by, more and more people are starting to realize some flaws of the game, and a couple YouTubers I watch have talked about this. One being the War Owl. He covered this that the servers aren't that great, that there are some weak elements that really wouldn't fit into competitive sports and such. Another guy that covered a couple one major flaw, I should say, of the game is Proto Mario in the loot system. If I didn't watch Proto Mario's video, I wouldn't have known that you could get duplicates in loot crates. Isn't that kind of redundant, especially when you have microtransactions and you can get you can get duplicates with microtransactions? Why? I'm going off on a tangent. Some other games that pop up when I think of the Watch Dogs effect are some somewhat recent Assassin's Creed titles, not the more recent ones like Unity and whatever the fuck the newer one is, but but a couple before that. Black Flag being one of them, but the list goes on. It really does, and it's sad. Now, why am I explaining such an odd effect, as I call it? It's dangerous for the industry. How so? I'm glad you asked, even though you've probably figured it out. In a nutshell, games will get undeserved backlash. Again, as in the case of Watch Dogs getting piss poor reviews on release, and then a bit better reviews a bit after. Now, why is this dangerous? This could scare away potential devs and aspiring devs, upcoming devs, indie devs, any game maker. Why? Because when you're making a game, you want to make it as good as you can, and when you want to advertise that game, you hype it up as much as you can so the word spreads. For example, good advertising. I'm sorry for referring back to this again. You probably want to kill me for saying this, but Watch Dogs, they hyped up their game so just great. They're everything that they advertised was great. They said that we'd be able to put blackouts in the city and dispatch chasing people with blowing off sewer pipes and blah blah blah, and we were just so amused by this that we're like, holy shit, this game is going to be amazing. But when we got it, we saw it for what it was. And we were disappointed. Not only did we see it for what it was, but our negative views of it not being what we expected were doubled. Why? Because not only did we see it for what it was, but it was not what we expected. Had we expected Watch Dogs to be that way, the reviews would have been, average. People would have been saying, yeah, we got what we expected. We got what they told us we'd get. The characters are a little weak, blah, blah, blah. This is an average game. You might want to pick it up. You might not want to pick it up. It might be your cup of tea. It might not be. But since we were, expecting such a great game, we completely shat on it. We said, don't pick it up. This isn't what you expected. And let's just pretend that little controversy with the dumbing down of the PC version didn't exist. People would still hate it because it wasn't what we expected. See what I'm saying? Now, this can get extremely worse. I mean, why? How can this get any worse? With the effect spreading and becoming bigger. How does that happen? Again, the gaming community and industry is always growing. Always. I mean, it's a fact. More and more people are gaming each passing day. And it's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong. But when someone uneducated gets hyped for such an amazing game and they don't stop to think that the trailer that they just saw is an advertisement, they get overhyped. That's what happens. And it's scary because the more and more people that are overhyped that get the game on day one and it isn't what they expect, the more and more undeserved backlash that the devs in the game will get. And the lower scores that will be, dropped on the game won't be deserved. I mean, it's sad. And is it wrong? Yes. But are they wrong for overhyping us? No, that's their job. Overhype is what sells games, but at the same time, overhype is what kills games. And that's not the big guy, the big wigs at EA, at Naughty Dog, at Ubisoft, Activision. They don't care about that. Okay, well I can't say Naughty Dog, but you know who I'm talking about. Certain devs don't give a shit. They just want to sell copies. On the other hand, there are a few devs that do care. Actually, Naughty Dog being one of them. I don't know why I listed them under the asshole group, but they are not asshole. They are very wonderful people. But you know the good. If you've paid attention, even within the past year, you'd know who the good devs are and who the bad devs are. But this is very dangerous, and it will get worse and worse. There are very few games that live up to the hype generated, let alone to the overhype that's generated. I think the only game that has lived up to the overhype that has been generated, it would have to be Grand Theft Auto 5. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't know about Witcher 3. I haven't paid attention to how hyped up it was and how it did. I'm just not a Witcher fan. But yes, like I said, I know I sound like a running record here, but overhype is horrible. So, how can we stop this? Can we stop this? Or is it impossible? Well, I'd say it, but it's kind of all three. It's it is let's be honest. It is impossible to completely remove hype, let alone overhype. But we can dim it down and turn down the notch on how severe it gets. First off, when viewing a trailer or a new game announcement, any of that, be objective even though it's hard. New Fallout game, 5, 10 years from now is announced. Hell yeah, we all love Fallout, but let's be realistic. Let's look at the technology we have at the time. What will be possible What will not be possible? Again, when you see a trailer, yeah, it might look awesome, different angles, amazing music, and all that fancy stuff. But again, let's be objective. Think, is this gameplay? If the answer is yes, that is going to this is going to greatly reflect on what the game has to offer and what it is. If no, then you have to be objective, saying this is probably being played up than than how, um, shit, I lost my train of thought. Um, this is probably being played up on what it actually would be. Probably they are probably making it look better than what it actually is. Um, but that's the point of a trailer. They want to make it look better than what it is, so you can buy it. And is that bad? No, not for them, but it is for us. We could easily get misguided again, in the case of the Watch Dogs effect. Overhype. So, how? What if you're a guy that can't be objective? What do you do? I hate to say it, but try your best to avoid trailers or announcements. I know that's going to be hard, but if you're that kind of guy, avoid avoid everything. I know that's hard, but it does pay off. When you finally get the game, everything seems new, and you can get your own perspective and opinion on it, as opposed to seeing a trailer or reveal beforehand, where you're kind of expecting something. When you're expecting nothing, a game seems so amazing. I can vouch for that. I paid attention to. I paid very little attention to anything about Fallout 4. The only thing I knew is that the perks were different. That's all I knew. And when I played it, I had so much fun. When I finally got it to work, it was amazing. Sorry for rambling off there, but that's just an example. Um, how how do we how do we distinguish what's made to be overhyped and what's being realistic? Again, ask the question: Is the footage in the trailer in-game footage? If no, then expect a lot less than what you've seen. If yes, then expect what you're seeing, because that's in-game footage. Now, let's be honest. Is is me making a video going to stop the overhype? No, but it'll bring awareness, and I urge you guys to at least talk about it, because this is a serious danger to the gaming community. Um, it like I said, we we can't stop this. We can't stop the Watch Dogs effect, but we can dim it down so that future games that are made are not completely shit on for not being what we expected, but instead appropriately defended and appropriately reviewed. Now, what? What's gonna happen next? If the word spreads and we can dim down this Watch Dogs effect, I think that would help the gaming industry a lot, to be honest. Will it help? How much is a lot? Anything from a couple new devs sprouting up to more games being released so that the market is more competitive and just completely filled with games that we want to see and play. Now, let me end on this. The Watch Dogs effect will probably always exist in gaming. And with new generation getting better in visuals, audio, and gameplay itself, it's hard not to imagine what the next game could be. How amazing it can be, and it could be very easy to lose yourself. But again, try to remain calm and objective when viewing some form of advertisement, be it an announcement, a trailer, any of that. So that way, when it drops, at least you won't be disappointed. And at least you will be able to experience the game for your own, which is a truly amazing feeling. If you've been gaming since you were a kid, like I have been, there's no other feeling than just opening up a game and it discovering it, not knowing anything about it. Thanks for taking your time to listen to this pretty shitty video. Leave a rating, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you think I'm a total jackass or if I'm wrong, or if you just didn't like the video or the subject. And please comment on how I could make my videos better for future content outside of better mic, please. Which I do plan on getting something sooner or later. But thanks guys. Have a nice day. I'm outie.